North may be at the top of the compass, but it doesn't appear to, to top service delivery in Johannesburg. It seems North Riding, which is a suburb of Randburg, has been experiencing an inexplicable amount of time in the dark as power cuts continue in the area. Now, just last night, disgruntled community members had taken to the streets in protest, blocking roads and further burning tires after almost an entire day without electricity. And while people suffer, it's been alleged that those who are meant to ensure the services are nowhere, to be found at this stage. Here's eNCA reporter Bafedile Moerane, who joins me right now in North Riding, checking on developments. And let's cross to her live now, just to check how the situation currently is looking from where she stands. Bafedile, very warm good morning to you, colleague. And it seems like once again, it's North Riding in the spotlight when it comes to power outages. This is not the first time we've heard residents complain, but it seems once again, they continue to see persisting power outages.
Most certainly, Tumelo, that's what the residents on the ground are telling us, having to say that for the past 3 years, it has really been problematic for them when it comes to the power cuts, and they have been reporting this matter to the city power with no solution at this point. So we saw them last night having to take matters to the streets as they were indicating that they had some power cuts from Monday in the early hours of the morning, and with no solution from the city power after having to call them on numerous occasions, having to highlight their plight to say that we are having a serious challenge as residents of North Riding. As you can see, probably behind us there, the situation this morning, it is relatively calm. As we understand, residents at this point have been told that city power officials are on the ground to ensure that they reconnect them to the grid. But we can see the remnants from yesterday's protest there. It's with the burning tires and also the stones and other debris that we can spot from where we are. The electricity is not yet back, but we have seen the city power officials on the ground having to fix. But at this point, I'm going to be joined by two gentlemen here who have actually raised frustrations. Abud Vuyo Mukwena, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you.
We saw you as residents having to take matters to the streets. You're saying that for the past 3 years, you have been experiencing constant power cuts. What's the issue? What is City Power saying to you as residents?
So, City Power, it's not really saying much. I feel like they're not willing to work with us as residents. We have to every time force ourselves or try and gather ourselves so that we can get their attention. We have to be ignored, so that's why we ended up taking matters to our hands as a community and standing together and saying enough is enough. Including our councillor is not saying anything or doing anything about this matter. So we're very frustrated. You see, our food. If you come to my house, the food that we just bought, it's smelling. There's nothing really going on. We can't even buy food. There are a lot of residents here that have children, and we're all complaining about the same thing. Electricity is a very big crisis for us.
You're saying for 3 years now. What could actually be the issue? Is the infrastructure capacity, or according to you, what is it?
So we would get every week, every 2 weeks or every week, there is a power cut of some sort. We get to lose power. If you go down there, you will realize that every time there's always a cable that's been stolen. They don't even close it down for some reason. When you go to the corner on the other side, you will realize that there's always something that's missing. It's either they fix the cable today, the cable has been stolen, the next morning we don't know what happens. They would leave the cable lying on the ground just like that. It's always a mess. So to answer your question, I feel like it is City Power itself also not taking responsibility of ensuring that these cables are properly closed down there. They would just do the work and just leave it like that. There's always something wrong. And when a week ago, we were right there. City Power, most of the time, they're not being honest with us. So at first in the morning, they told us that, oh no, they fixed everything. They just want to make sure that they're switching it on. As we stood there until 1 o'clock, that's when they tell us we're going to do something temporarily for you guys. We realized that they haven't done anything. We had to, ma'am, we would sit there with our camping chairs, politely so, and protecting the contractors who are working there to make sure that they finish up in time, or to make sure that we as a community, we protect them while they are working at night. And most of the time, the contractors will tell us the truth that City Power is not, we haven't done anything. We are waiting for someone from City Power to come and give us authorization, and no one is coming at that time. So it's a problem for us.
Well, that's a serious problem that's being highlighted by Mr. Vuyo Mokwena here as a resident there, Tumelo. But among other things, Tumelo, it's not only electricity crisis that they are encountering. Along the streets, we have spotted a sewer spillage, which is really smelling very bad. And for quite some time, Abutin Duduzo having to say that it's a situation that you have to face for a very long time now.
Yes, definitely. We are struggling a lot with the other problems that come along with the power outages. For example, the reason why they say we're having the sewer on the streets is because they say Joburg Water had to redirect the sewage because it falls under the same line with the City Power cables. So then they can't work on that same line. So now the sewer is running on the street. As you saw, it's smelling. This is how we're living right now. It's impossible that we can be staying in North Riding and living under these dire conditions. And that is not our only challenge at the moment. Right now, you see, we're going out. We're going to spend more money to work in a restaurant the whole day because we can't work from our apartments. There's no electricity. We can't. They don't even believe us. People, when we tell them each and every day that there's no electricity, we couldn't be in communication. Our laptops are off, our phones are off, everything. We just need to charge. It's impossible. We can't be working like this.
What's really painful is that you are saying that you are paying rates.
Yes, of course, we're paying rent, we're paying rates, others are paying, they're paying bond and everything. And we are taxpayers, and it's impossible that we as the taxpayers and ratepayers of this area, of this community, are suffering the way we are suffering. Our ward councillor, I believe his name is Ralph, we don't even know him. We've never seen him here at night when there's no power. I believe last night I read a statement from him on News 24 that he was speaking to them and saying that the residents are wrong and that we're acting like hooligans at this moment. It's nothing like that. It's the frustration. He's not giving us any word. There's no communication from the ward councillor. In fact, the only right thing for the ward councillor to do right now is step down because it's clearly failing. He said clearly he's not an electrician, he's a politician. So he can go and do politics elsewhere and let the people here deal with the problems that we have.
Well, thank you so much, Nduduzo. As you can hear the frustration from residents here on the ground, Tumelo having to say that their councillor is failing them and they are actually calling on him to step aside because he is constantly failing them for quite some time. Not only electricity issue, it is the problem in the area, but also the sewer spillage, which is somehow being caused by electricity power cuts. It's one of the issues they are facing here, and having to say that they are paying rates, but the municipality is failing them together with the councillor who is in most cases not available to answer their plea or their demands.
And Bafedile, I mean, those rates don't come cheap. If you look at the amounts that they have to pay, they definitely would not match the lack of services that they're not receiving out in the area. Again, just hearing that there's another impact that they're facing economically. They can't conduct their business. It seems livelihoods are affected, conducting business also being affected. So a lot happening in North Riding with the residents there, and we'll continue to place a close eye with you, colleague, as our eyes and ears on the ground. eNCA reporter Bafedile Moerane for us, of course, out in North Riding. You could hear residents there saying that it seems there's no solution in sight. This is the constant plea they've been making to the municipality to assist them, City Power as well, when it comes to connecting them to electricity.